said it was the best item we've ever seen picked up on a Morphling. New meta.
Yeah.
This is totally crazy, out of the ordinary, and ends up winning the game for his
Yeah.
team. But we take a look over at LGD against Aster Game 2. Do they even bother to ban the DK? That's the question, because it didn't do well for Chalice, but it was banned in the previous series, all 3 games.
It was. They had the perfect answer for it, though, which was make it unable to move with Rolling Thunder. Every wall in the game is a massive hazard. I feel like if you got the Dragonite against a Pango, you need to put a giant caution sign there beside every wall in the game. That was disgusting what he did to him. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
If they give up the Pango, I'd love to see like the Pango Grimstroke come in. I feel like that's always a disgusting combo of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's very mean with the W, right? Or is it the E? The Shadow Tendril. The crazy Shadow Tendril thing. You know
The
what I'm
Phantom's
talking
Embrace?
about. Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
The Phantom's Embrace or the Inksaw?
No, where's the one that he throws his dead wife at you is the Phantom's Embrace, right?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's his dead wife.
Damn, couple goals, you know? That's the relationship goals I hope to have one day. Where if I go first,
your dead wife at other men.
No, I'm saying if I die first, my wife throws my dead soul over at people to silence them, and if my wife goes first, I get to throw her dead soul at people. That's of course barring the fact if I ever have a wife. Probably not happening. Back into the game though. LGD against Aster. Grimstroke finally gets banned here, as it's the final ban for this first phase in LGD. Let's see what the opening pick is.
Yeah. No respect bans coming out from either team from that last game. And starting right away again in his Keeper of the Light. I mean, it worked pretty well last game. As long as you don't let the Ricky farm a Blink Dagger so we can gap close like 2k range. Oh, and there it is again.
Well,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, B-Cop.
Yeah, we're same draft, guys. This is a replay. Totally not live right now. Ember Ricky picked up for Aster once again.
Yep. This time the Ember Spirit in slightly different order. Again, I was talking to you last game, the strength of that Keeper of the Light with the Ember Spirit, but the Ricky did work really well. It makes sense why they want to do it again. Bristleback picked up now, pretty good against the Ricky and the Ember Spirit, in my opinion. Hard to backstab if that back that you're stabbing is full of bristles.
And, they go to the Bristleback, Keeper of the Light. That's the combo that I was looking for in the first game, but the Bristleback was banned in those first 4 by Aster, I believe, to start this off. And now you've got the Bristleback. Kato could go... you could go Ricky 1, throw like a Lich in there as a support, or go back to the Ricky in the 4, get a Lich as the 5, and Ember Spirit. You could sit mid again. You could go 4. There's options for this lineup. That's for sure.
Yep. The Bristleback Keeper Leg combo, not quite as good as it used to be with how the Chakra Magic has been reworked since it was really good. Now it reduces the cooldown of all your spells instead of reducing the next one you use. There's no double quill, but you can use another quill very quickly after the last one if he times his Chakra Magic right. So it's not bad. We might see these two heroes lane together. Bristleback a lot of times he was played as a safe lane a lot. And then, what was it? Eternal Envy or somebody in NA started doing this crazy thing where they would run him in the mid lane and cut between the tier 1 and 2 and then drag them into the enemy's creep camps and then farm both of them at once. And then Valve said, no, you can't do that. We don't like that. You can't pull into camps that are not the designated pull camps anymore. That's pretty funny. But they could play the Bristleback in a number of places.
Something originated in NA? Is that like reality? Is that a real sentence?
Of course. Tons of things originate in NA. Not a lot of them are good right away, but they start there.
Toxicity.
The meta is forged in low-level NA pubs, I feel.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's fair. All right.
Faceless Void picked up now. Extremely solid hero. Pretty good against both these heroes on side of PSG.LGD as well. You can get out of Bristleback very easily, as well as stop him doing the things you want to do with the time lock, or sorry, time dilation. That's the one. He's got a bunch of time themed spells.
Yeah, he's the master of time.
Time Man.
That would be the. Do you remember the Reddit thread back when it was like we translated hero names into Chinese and then back into English, and they got things like Brooklyn Kurtz for Clinks.
They need to send the to me afterwards. Brooklyn Kurtz.
Yeah, that was the name, and it was on a Valve shirt. My friend has it. It just says Brooklyn Kurtz, and it's a picture of Clinks. It was that popular of a thread that Valve made shirts of those names.
Mm.
But I feel like Time Man would be one of them.
Time Man, yeah, probably one of them. Whenever I play with my friends, every time we throw up a chronosphere, they yell Time Sphere. Anyways, Winter Wyvern picked up here next. Pretty solid hero again. Tons of disengage, Cold Embrace, and Witch's Curse, both amazing spells. And then Silencer actually picked up for Team Aster. How often have we been seeing this one?
Silencer?
Mm-hmm.
Not terribly much. Seems super situational right now in the Chinese region. Although I will say I've seen it more often than not mid. Um, if it gets picked up at all. However, with the Ember, probably a lot less likely.
Then Wraith King picked up. Now this could get interesting. They probably have their cores already picked out here. Uh, I'm not sure if they end up going Diffusal Blade on the Void Spirit, or if they probably won't. They're not going to go Diffusal Blade on the Ember Spirit, right? That's absolutely not going to happen. But I feel like he needs too many of these heroes here. Diffusal Blade is too good. It's great against the Bristleback, and it's great against the Wraith King. Bristleback without mana is hilarious to watch. He doesn't die, but he also doesn't do anything. He just kind of exists.
Well, you've got the Ricky who's probably a 4 again,
Mhm.
who got a defusal in the previous game. And then Silencer can certainly help. The Glaives, right? I'm not mistaken. The change to Glaives.
The Glaive and Silencer? Yes, they did. Now you steal intelligence from the enemy hero with each one landed. It goes 1, 1, 2, 3 with its scaling, and it lasts longer with each level.
Yeah,
A little bit
so
like the OD Q.
you could certainly make this tough with a diffusal on the Ricky and Silencer heavy into the Glaives, or not really even needed to be too heavy in the Glaives to disrupt, especially the Wraith King.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I've seen Wraith Kings, and probably not the situation here. Go extra skeletons plus skeleton damage, and you're just taking objectives.
Yeah, the boys gaming is what I call it. You got the boys with you at all times. We'll see
This is
though.
me and the boys taking your tower.
Hmm. They always seem to know where to go as well. They go for tower exactly when you need them to. They farm exactly when you need them to. They're pretty smart for having no brains. But yeah, the diffusal blade would probably not be. The Ricky probably won't be a core. He will get a diffusal blade, but again, the reason that they picked that up right away is the exact same reason last game. They want to get onto the backline with the coddle, stop him from doing what he wants to do in the team fight, probably take him out before he gets his ultimate there.
If it sets up to be this way, it should be 5 Silencer, 4 Ricky, mid Ember, safe lane Void, but certainly options.
Yeah, I mean, I do get the
Oh,
Wraith King pickup, but it does make Diffusal Blade very, very tempting to pick up quickly on the Void and get the Ricky online a little bit faster with the Diffusal Blade, with Bristleback and Wraith King both being there. We'll see how they round this draft out, though. What they decide to play mid if it's not the Bristleback on PSG.LGD.
could the Ember go off lane and throw the Silencer mid?
Uh, they could, and they might even want to with the Storm Spear there now. I do think Ember does a lot better in this lane matchup against Storm, but I also think that Silencer absolutely destroys him. So I'm preferring Aster's draft by a lot. I don't know about you. What say you, Beakup?
Very cooldown dependent with both the Void's Chronosphere as well as the Global Silence, but at the same time, a Diffusal on the Riki and Glaives coming in from the Silencer might be able to mitigate that fact.
Yeah.
And we'll see what they go with this last pick. Because I'm very interested to see where this Silencer is going. Like, if you threw, like, a Lich out of left field here and then threw, like, I mean, even like Ricky offlane. I know that doesn't sound that great, but did Ricky 4 sound that amazing? No, but it destroyed. And
It
that's the great thing about Dota. Just about anything can work. Played in the right hands, played in the right way, just about anything can work.
A man who won a lot of tournaments did say that.
And, I will stand by that as long as the people who go, oh, anything works. What about Techies 1? I mean, in the right hands,
I
maybe it does work, but it probably won't.
I want to tell you right now, Beakup, I am angry, and you want to know why. Every talent got nerfed by 20%, but that's one of the reasons why I'm angry, but I'm gonna avoid that one. Techie's level 25, the plus 251 damage, that wasn't nerfed by 20%. Everything else was nerfed by 20%.
As it shouldn't be. Techie's meta pick.
Yeah. Valve's trying to push it on everyone. They nerfed
Although
everyone except for the techies.
there was a time when I thought Techies could be a meta pick, where I saw them at Epicenter a few years ago, and they were just playing hilarious Dota, going all in blast off and destroying lanes. Like that amount of damage early and that silence is just such a long silence, good amount of damage. Like lose your life as the Techies, I don't care. You're silenced, you're dead, your core is gone.
Yeah, Twitch chat is currently losing it seeing the Storm Spirit pick. I probably agree with them. I don't think it's very good here. Aster, on the other hand, I really like how they rounded this draft out with the Underlord. Strong frontliner, which they really needed.
5 position silencer.
Yeah. I mean, makes
Disappointing,
sense.
but expected.
Yeah. Bobaka's positioning last game was absolutely amazing. So even playing against the Storm Spirits probably want to jump out of the back line and deal with the silencer, which might have been one of the reasons that they took it. I don't think Bobaka is the kind of player that is going to let a Storm Spirit jump on him and pick him off. And if he does, he's probably baiting him in his buyback. So right now, I definitely favor Aster's lineup by a lot. What say you?
Is it too greedy though?
Is it too greedy? Which one? PSG?
The Aster lineup.
A little bit. Silencer is one of those position 5 heroes that you do want some farm on. You don't just want to be a global silence machine, right? You want to be able to take advantage of your glaive of wisdom, have decent right click damage, and participate in a lot of fights. If you're making the enemies lose a lot of int, that's amazing too. Uh, it is a little bit greedy in the way that the only real wave clear that they have if they start losing the game is sorry, what was it again? The Underlord, the last pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
the
he is.
Underlord with the Firestorm.
Yeah. So he's their main answer if they start losing the game. So this guy definitely needs to win his lane. I think their lanes are going to go fine, though. Unless they just absolutely destroy with this Keeper of the Light and the Bristleback.
Prepare for battle. Complete.
I definitely think Aster's coming out on top this game.
So we'll see if you get your prediction right. I know, at least from my point of view, you don't have to. I feel like a lot of panels are like, this is definitely the pick. This is the team. And
The
then they're
panels
wrong.
exist to get the predictions wrong. Let's be honest, everybody. Come on.
Yeah. Just, gamble against the panel.
A wyvern's breath.
But let's see what they're able to do if Aster can take this one. I do like Aster's lineup. It might end up being a little bit too slow, but we'll see.
Yeah. Fade playing pretty far forward already. Has 2 sentries in his hands. I think he wants to try and scat out the enemies dropping their observer ward. Unfortunately, didn't manage to catch it though. You can use some interesting things over here though. Like you can, yeah, he might be trying to do that. If you stand in the trees over here, you can figure out that the enemy has placed their ward up here if they attack you from like over behind these trees, or they sort of see your positioning. That's exactly what Fade's trying to do right now, it looks like. Big brain.
You don't see a lot of that, you know, looking, and I think I just had this conversation with Mo Farah about the fact that you don't see a lot of players trying to see whether or not that ward's been placed down.
Another really common one is like people put the ward right here, right? You go into the fog of these trees right here. If the tower attacks you, you know there's a ward there. You deward it. Because the ward will glimpse into these trees over here. The large brain plays, anyways.
The big brain plays. Let's see, Storm up against this Ember over mid, and they've got 3 heroes right now for the side of LGD, I believe, trying to maybe get themselves a first blood, but right now the only one towards top is this Silencer, as XSS will make his way to the lane, but not soon wants to show up to the neighborhood just yet. X-Nova's only got Blinding Light, nothing picked up for Winter Wyvern just yet, and Wraith Fire Blast there for the Wraith King.
Yep. Speaking of North American pills, there were some people that were just going Mortal Strike Vampiric Aura, and that was that. Wouldn't put any points in the Wraith Fire Blast. PSG.LGD has opted to get this done, though, which again helps keep you alive and secured that range creep right there for him.
It's all you want in your life is a range creep, the most important creep in lane.
They've really balanced it out a bit, though. They increased all the melee creeps by 5 gold per. FY taking a little bit of damage, but he's going to be fine. They increased all the melee creeps damage by 5 per, or gold 5 per, and they decreased the range by 10%. They didn't increase it again. So you only getting like 35 to 38 or something like that for the melee creeps, and then like 41 for the range. It's not a massive difference anymore. The XP is pretty important, though.
Still keeping 3 on both these. It's rare that we see 3v3s these days. Or these tri-lane setups. There's damage coming out into Chalice. Bobica gets first blood onto X-Nova. Now looking over at Chalice. And Firestorm comes in. Bobica, he's going to help and get himself a second kill.
And you gotta be careful. He's a pretty smart guy to begin with, and that's before we start stealing in any intelligence. So, already off to a great start for Team Aster.
Yeah, and that was something we were worried about. How much is Bobica going to need in terms of farm? But at the end of the day, it's, well, we take a look, and Bobica's got himself 4 stolen intelligence to start.
Yep. He's just gonna farm his intelligence from heroes instead of farming items to get it. Mid lane is short engagement there. Denied. Sean does end up getting back and salving. He's going to be fine though. He's got a bunch in his inventory. Lane's starts to go the favor of Ember Spirit after a couple of levels. Again, Ember Spirit has that kill potential, and Storm Spirit doesn't so much. Flame is definitely the way to go here though. Top lane.
XSS getting chased, and the Blinding Light will really help get this kill, or try to get this kill onto XSS, but continuing to run, and Chalice has himself another Wraith Fire Blast in just a second. The question is, does he want to commit under the tower? And we see exactly that. It's a deterrent from him diving in, and XSS able to get a salve off, but stopped due to the Splinter Bust. Do they have another one in this lane? No. They've got shared tangos and 1 shipping out.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yeah. And FY wanted to pull this creep wave, but Fade, once again, being very annoying for him, slowing him down there, making it so we can't do his annoying things. Aster's pretty happy right now, I feel.
Haste!
Yeah, I mean, they're in a good spot. Those 2 kills over top to start the game off are certainly a good feeling. Because sometimes when you see a 5-position silencer like this, as Fade gets lit up by the Illuminate, goes into the tricks of the trade. And He'll try to run, but there is the Wraith Fire and Blast. Now Bobica in between it all. He gets hit with the Blinding Light. Trying to help maybe get a kill here. Surviving. FY in trouble. Bobica just wants the extra intelligence. Please, just get the kill on FY. That's all he wants, and there it is. But
he didn't get it.
He didn't get the intelligence.
You hate to see it. You die for kills like that, you just end up dying. So a little bit of the lane advantage lost there. Even though he's not getting the intelligence, the Underlord is getting the permanent damage from his Uptree aura there. So
big scaling team here.
Yep.
Never refuse gold.
The thing is too, with this is, I would say, and I was starting to go into it before that exchange happened. You see 5-position silencers so many times find themselves in a spot where they only have like 2 stolen intelligence. 15 minutes into the game. Oh, Bristleback bottom! We're in the jungle, really. Xuan ends up getting the kill there onto Old 11. And now they've got themselves a kill into the Bristleback. And, I mean, this is so far starting out pretty good for the side of Aster. And as I was saying, Bobica, you know, you see a silencer in the 5 position just not have that much intelligence. Except, I mean, he stacked up 2 kills there to start it off.
Yeah. And that's really going to add up with the extra mana pool damage, how it scales the Glaives of Wisdom. So, and 1 kill leads to more when you start getting them on Silencer. And you definitely don't want to be losing too much int if you're on the Wraith King, because again, last position you want to be in is like he hits you with an extra 2 Glaives of his own, you've already lost a bunch of int. Suddenly you don't have mana for your ultimate at full mana. Very odd feeling to have. Back and forth here. Ricky thought better of it to try and stop them from pulling these creeps that time.
Got the boots. Is he going to go for the Diffusal Blade into the Blink Dagger again?
Oh, we'll see. He's got a lot. We'll see after the laning phase ends. Again, doesn't have any points in Smoke Cloud yet. Right now he just sort of has to sit around. He's not going to get any XP. Not going to see any gold. They have decent lockdown, but a lot of these plays, as the laning phase ends, is going to have to be around Chronospheres. Chronospheres and wherever Ember Spirit is. Bobica is going to go down.
Bad spot. Yeah, they bring up Somnus, and he'll go in with the Ball of Lightning, get the kill there onto Bobica. And it's rotations heavy for heroes over towards top, and this will give an opportunity to SCCC to continue to farm and go for, you know, now having that level 6, having that Chronosphere available. The question is, how will they use it?
Not well to start with, because again, they don't have a whole lot that goes well with the Chronosphere. And Void doesn't do that much damage on his own. Obviously, Ember Spirit can't get in there and do anything. You have your Silencer, and maybe like Firestorm running down on it, so... If you can get a pick off with the Chronosphere right now, great, but we're not going to see anything that big come out of it for a very long time.
The other thing is Firestorm just sitting level 2 right now. Probably going to go heavy into that, and that will amp up what his potential is within a Chronosphere. So we'll see. And you'd like to see Bobica also get a quicker 6, getting that Global Silence, and that might be what turns a fight around here for the side of Aster over LGD as well.
8-minute, Rune comes up, bottles it on Xuan. They're very good about this. But yeah, a lot of the Ember Spirit's gonna have a much easier time getting on top of the Storm Spirit and getting a kill in combination with the Global Silence. He goes on him, gets Searing Chains off, bursts him down. That extra couple of seconds from the Global Silence will secure a kill.
Over here.
Mask of Madness, first item for the Faceless Void over mid. Ember going into the urn, probably for that Spirit Vessel, especially up against this Bristleback. See how it goes. Storm going into the Kaya should be a Bloodstone, and Armlet first for the Wraith King after these treads.
That's interesting. He opted not to go for the Radiance. I'm really in the camp of thinking that Radiance almost every single game needs to happen on Wraith King. It's just so much of how the hero does. He spends a lot of time walking at you in a team fight. And again, having the mischance as well when you're up close fighting people, especially against all these heroes on Aster. Like, it's going to be useful against the Void, the Ricky, the Silencer, and the Ember Spirit. Maybe they just feel like they need to come online a little bit faster than waiting for that
Ricky?
5100 gold.
You
Just
had your
gets the
warning.
kill there, and they'll finish off Fade. Fade, of course, queuing up that defusal. We'll see if he can get into it as quickly as he did in the first game. You see where the Wraith King's at in terms of net worth. He's sitting towards the bottom behind all three cores. But in saying that, gotta praise the fact that both the Storm and the Bristle are having a good time here for the side of LGD.
Yep. So they're shutting down the Wraith King, and that's going great, but Bristleback and Storm Spirit are pretty happy with themselves. I'm not sure it'll matter too much, though. I think Wraith King is the one you want securing farm. Because, again, you have that silencer for the global silence. You're going to be able to get on top of the Storm. As long as you can get him before he gets his Yules. So he goes on Ricky right here. Ricky's probably going to go down.
Ooh, however, though, they get the kill on X-Nova. Yes, Fade will die, but now getting himself yet another 2 intelligence. Bobica now, Somnus, he needs to be a little bit careful. He's got the mana to ball lightning away. However, God forbid Silencer was level 6 at that point, or it had a tome get delivered to him, and he gets the global silence there. All of a sudden, you'd be feeling pretty bad.
Yeah. Buys the tome out now, so he'll have level 6 once he gets to him. Came out a little bit slow, though. Again, you want to be getting these kills on the Storm Spirit before he gets that Yule Scepter. Once he has that, it's going to be a lot harder to lock him down. The Ricky does have smoke to deal with him, but again, at that point, like, the Yules will use up a lot of the duration. They'll eventually have 4 staffs on the Keeper of the Light. They're going to be a lot better replaced. Light breaks out here, though.
SCCC stunned up, but the Time Walk gets a second life, basically, and the Chronosphere used defensively. Maybe they could turn this around. The trade comes out, and now they look to get the Storm. Storm, Ball Lightning, but he's got the Arcane Curse on him. It's not going to matter. He ends up back into the base, and now they're trying to turn this as the Illuminate gets thrown out. But damage from Bobica onto Chalice. He's sitting level 6. He's holding a skill point, hoping to go into the reincarnation. The Wraithfire Blast is starting to fade. He's got the tricks of the trade, and now the damage onto Chalice. They'll get the first life. But Winter's Curse, they'll take out Fade. Bobica also dead. 2 heroes gone. If they could get the second life away from Chalice, this would be decent for Aster. But they're going to lose XSS, so 3 heroes go down. They look over to CCC. Chalice on the run. They'll get the kill there. They fall back on the Ricky, and now can they get this Void out of here? Yes, they can. Has Bristle gotten in too far? Not really looking as such because of the fact that he's got so much health and continuing to try and run down these heroes.
That fight just ended up being an absolute disaster for Aster. But only 500 net worth, or sorry, 500 XP change there, about 700 net worth swing for the side of LGD. Actually, fight's not over yet. Winter Wyvern ends up getting caught out here by the Emperor Spirit. I think he's gonna go. They really want him. That was a bold Remnant. He ended up like paying for this. He's only got. All right, gets a TP. Yeah, not quite enough damage, but yeah, it was his last Remnant. Ends up just going forward. That's going to slow him down quite a bit, though. He has to walk out of the base.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Hold on. Did Bobica end up giving away this tome?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
He had to have. I think he did. He must have given away the tome.
Because Global Silence would have been all the difference in that fight.
Yeah, it would have. I missed that. He definitely bought the tome. I think he was flying it out to him, but he would be level 6 if he used it at level 5.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder who he gave it to.
That's yikes for me. It'd be somebody from chat caught who got that one. Take a look at a minute here.
Sentry Ward is down, but it didn't matter here for Chalice. He doesn't have that reincarnation. They'll get themselves another kill and taking 2 more int away from the Wraith King. Big kill there.
Again, it's smart for them to go on him when the reincarnate is down. They're just making this Wraith King's game miserable. So it kind of makes sense why he wouldn't go the Radiance. He's not going to end up finding the gold for it. But I'm not sure how big his impact on this game is going to be. And he does need to be here. They have a lot of answers for the Storm Spirit. If they go on him before he gets his Yule Scepter, again, the game is going to turn on its head very fast.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Winter Wyvern, FY on the Winter Wyvern here is doing a pretty good job this game, though. He's got some decent Winter's Curses off. The hero that he's playing is pretty nice. He's able to spam out the waves.
Take a look at XSS. going into the Guardian Greaves. That should be some more survivability, which is definitely something that they can use in these fights, as we saw in the previous exchange. But again, Bobica having that global silence now, so we'll see how much that matters.
Oh, a lot. If they can stop the Winter Wyvern, like Silencer's basically going to be watching two things: the Storm Spirit, and how far he is, or where the Ember Spirit is in conjunction to him, and where the Winter Wyvern is. As long as you can kind of watch the Winter Wyvern's positioning, you don't need to get that Blink Dagger on the Ricky and then Blink Strike onto him afterwards. You can stop him from saving his allies or resetting a fight. It is very annoying to play Winter Wyvern against a good Silencer.
For the treasure.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So right now the smoke has got them a ward out in the Radiant Jungle Storm, away from the mid lane, and they're not going to find anything within this smoke, but they'll get some vision down.
PSG.LGD playing very, very careful despite their 2k net worth advantage. Again, it's quite easy for the Storm Spirit to just die. He's actually opting to go Bloodstone before anything else. It will make him really tanky, and again, you don't have a whole lot of damage to go with that Chronosphere. Yeah, and he ends up getting out of here.
Ooh.
Unfortunate. I mean, it's worth a shot.
Bristle shows up to the fight. Searing Chains is out. FY is here. Remnant away, as well as the Silence getting dropped down on top of the Winter Wyvern, making sure that it can secure Xuan's escape.
Never refuse gold given.
Arcane Rune on the Storm Spirit. He's going to be a very happy boy.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Again, I was saying it's kind of greedy going the Bloodstone first on the Storm Spirit and not getting a BKB or anything like that. I guess he figures if he has the Bloodstone, he's tanky enough to not get bursted down in the direction of the Global Silence, and that they don't really have anything to throw on him while he's in the Chronosphere. So we'll see how this works.
They're going to try and go for this kill out onto the Bristleback. They use the Global Silence. Do they have the damage to kill him off? Yes, they do. That'll be another one there for Aster, as Bobica, I'm not certain if he got himself the int there, but they'll also use the Chronosphere on the Somnus, get themselves a second. Good fight from Aster, using those big cooldown ultimates to lock down 2 kills. On top of which, they should be able to get a tier 2 tower, or a tier 1 over mid.
And again, with the tier 1 bottom taken and tier 1 mid taken, you still have all of your towers -1 up for Aster. You can invade the enemy jungle as much as you want. The Storm Spirit is in a much more dangerous place than he previously was. I'm not sure he still wants to be rushing that Bloodstone.
Coin for me.
We'll see if he opts to change what he's doing, though.
How close is he to this defusal? Not terribly
Not
close.
close at all. He's not been having the best game. 18 last hits, 1 in 4.
Actually sitting 1,000 behind where the Winter Wyvern is going into the Aether one, so just trying to keep the distance and make sure that he's able to get off the Winter's Curse. However, they lose Fade bottom, but they get the first life out of the hands of Chalice. Bobica helping out to get this kill, and now another +2. Winter's Curse comes in, but with the Will-O-Wisp, it's not as effective as maybe they would have hoped.
A little unfortunate there. You have to be careful with how far forward you're going to be on Xuan, though. Your mana is a little bit low. Backs off just a little bit. But yeah, nice identifying the Ricky in the top lane by the Storm Spirit. Again, he wants to get his Diffusal Blade up as quickly as possible right now. I think Storm Spirit saw that and figured, okay, yeah, they're all going to be in a different lane. They want to leave this Ricky to farm. I'm going to get a free kill on him. And because of that, he's going to get his Bloodstone just a little bit faster. Only like 600, 700 gold away from it now. Still, though, he's like 1,000 net worth ahead of the Ember Spirit. His mid. Even though it feels like Aster controls all the map, the Storm Spirit is exceeding him in farm pretty well.
Yeah, they are behind by less than 1,000 net worth, but that is also due to the fact that you can see this Wraith King's not really having much of a game at the moment. He's 1,000 net worth behind this Underlord, and he was the, he is the 1 position.
Yeah. speaking of Underlord. Flying out his mechanism to him. So with that, they're probably going to want to take a fight. It's a bit of a power spike for them. Chalice still very far behind. He's got his armlet complete, and he's going for Radiance next, but that's going to be a pretty late Radiance. I mean, it is insanely good, this game. We're talking about how important it is to the extra miss chance against all these heroes. Especially if Ricky tries to get a Blink Dagger again, that will disable it, stop him going on them.
Getting closer and closer to that Diffusal Blade. Thinking about that outpost, but won't be able to get it. One apiece. They do have everything up once again here for the Dire, and this is when they're at their most lethal, is when they've got the Chronosphere as well as the Global Silence ready to go. Time walks onto the high ground, and now looking over at the Bristleback, he may just throw the Chronosphere, but instead uses that time dilation, looks over at Old 11, who just pops the Lotus Orb and looks to TP out, because over mid, we take a look, the Ball Lightning, the Global Silence comes in, that'll save the life of Schwann, they get the kill there on X-Nova, now they look over at Old 11, Bobica, with the Arcane Curse onto him, Pit of Malice locking down Old 11, but it's not going to be enough. Fade ends up dead. Now the Winter's Curse. It's not on anybody more than the Ember for the moment. Schwann trying to get a Remnant, trying to survive as CCC is here with a Chrono. They will get this first life out of the hands of this Wraith King, or I say first life, but he had Reincarnation still on cooldown, and down goes the Storm. Bobica gets credit for that one. They're looking for more. And it's the Sleight of Fist Searing Chains on Old 11 who'll lock him down, but it won't be enough to get the kill. However, Aster make out like bandits in that fight.
Oh my god, that Global Silence came out just a little bit late, but oh my god, that the Void not quite going down there completely turned that fight. The Storm Spear was ready to wipe the floor with them prior to going down there. Oh, that was... You see how much HP he had? It was like, less than 100, right? My god, that would have been a very, very different fight. His Storm Spear dying with full mana there. He had just picked up his Bloodstone too. That one's really going to hurt. It looked like SCCC didn't really know what he was doing either. His Chrono wasn't really on mark. He ended up jumping down to the low ground. It didn't quite connect him with getting back onto the high ground, but all that damage was Bobica. 14 int now, Power Treads.
They are really just trying to focus their attention on a Fade. Pit of Malice comes in, and Somnus, he'll start the run. This is not the easiest game for the Storm. I mean, yes, he's getting a kill there onto the Ricky, and he's slowing down the Diffusal Blade, which is great, because they need to make sure that that stays out of the hands of the Ricky. But you look at how much danger he puts himself in once up against XSS and Schwann.
Yeah. I mean, I think really like what Somnus is doing to this Ricky. I mean, they identified how important the Diffusal Blade is for him. He's last like 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, a little bit of exaggeration. Last like 8 minutes of the game, he's only got like 500 gold. The Storm Spear is just on him.
Dark Rift over to the outpost. Make sure that they can get this tier 2 tower. They've set up the Remnant. They've shown XSS over bottom. SCCC will pop that Mask of Madness to try and go in on this tier 2 tower. But they've got the scan over on the Roche. They've used the Dark Rift. I don't know if they can get back in time. We'll see. This is going down pretty quickly. Scan comes in from the Radiant. The timing's going to come to be very close. They'll get it. Now you've got an Aegis out on Somnus.
And just like that, suddenly on the front foot for LGD, and felt like they didn't really have any control of the map for a while. So, they didn't get the Roshan time, and they didn't get that bottom tier 2 either. And Somnus has been playing pretty well. I questioned what he was doing going Bloodstone first, because again, with the Global Silence and the Chronosphere, it feels a little bit greedy. But shutting down this Ricky is helping them quite a bit. Really taking advantage of what Aster wants to do to this Keeper of the Light here.
It's still desperately trying to get into the Diffusal Blade, but he hasn't really gained much gold in the last few minutes or so. Guardian Greaves, though, finished off for XSS, so sustainability is there for Aster in the form of Guardian Greaves. They're going for the Ags on Chuan, and he's 1,400 gold away from that. And then the BKB next for SCCC.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Both towers exchanging tier 2s. So both towers, both teams. Sorry about that.
Dire's top tower is under
We're
attack.
going to see if that ends up being enough.
Right, coming up next is the Shadow Blade for the Wraith King. Decided not to go the Radiance after all.
Tower is under attack.
I mean, it sort of makes sense. It'd be a very, very late Radiance. You probably wouldn't get it online till like 28 minutes at the earliest at this point. So, if you can get in, you can get that stun off onto the Silencer and burst him down along with the Storm Spirit, they're in a really good place.
Keep an eye on Bovica and this Tome of Knowledge, by the way.
Stupendous.
Watching if he actually takes this one.
Well, now I just want to know if at the end of the game, if it's going to say that he's used to, or if it's going to say that he passed one off.
He definitely would have had more experience in that. I really don't think he
Radiant's
used
top
it.
tower is under attack.
I do agree with you, though. I think it would have changed the fight there if he had the Global Silence for it.
He's going into a Hex next. He's got Blade Mail. He's got 14 permanent stolen intelligence. Like, he's in a decent spot.
I love his build. I loved what he was doing last game as well. His Global Silence in that last fight over here came in a little bit late. And other than that, he's been playing amazing.
A tool to teach.
Everything back up for the side of Aster. This is when you got to be pretty careful for LGD. Of course, they do have that Aegis as well as the second life on to Chalice, but they only have that second life if he's able to maintain the mana, and he's already down to a 500
Radiant's
mana
top
pool.
tower is under attack.
Yeah. He's not having a good time. They opted not to go Diffusal Blade on the Ember Spirit or the Void Spirit, like I thought they might have, though.
We've just about got it, though, on the Ricky.
Yeah. Another 300 or so gold here. He's been a lot more careful ever since he got picked off twice by the Storm Spirit. He's sitting at 1-7 right now, probably feeling a little bit bad. Again, I do think it was the right move for him to be off by himself farming, but Somnus responded to it perfectly.
He's not showing in lane, so he's just trying to get to that Diffusal Blade any way he can, whether it be in a fight or over in the jungle or trying to get a couple of last hits here or there with a teammate or so.
Yep.
Dire's
Finally
bottom
making their
tower
way to this
is
tier
under
1 on the
attack.
bottom on PSG.LGD. It's been standing up for too long.
This is giving time, though, for Schwan to get the
Dire's bottom
Ags.
tower has
So he's got that, and they're rolling with a BKB. That's 10 seconds here for the Faceless Void. He also picks up an Orbit of Destruction, which is perfect. This is going to be a strong fight potentially here for the side of Aster, but that's if they're able to keep alive XSS. XSS pops the Guardian Greaves. They've got the Pit of Malice, potentially a big Chronosphere coming through from SCCC. They're lining up. They get it only on a Chalice, though. There's the Winter's Curse. However, you take a look at Somnus, who now needs to run. He's got the Spirit Vessel on him. He'll ball lightning away. That's a big Global Silence and Chronosphere whiff from Team Aster.
Didn't quite get the Storm Spirit on it. I think he would have been able to get the Storm Spirit with the Ember, but he opted not to there. Realizes that he has the Aegis of the Immortal. The only thing he's going to do by bringing him down there is bring him back up with full HP and mana. Aegis will be expiring in another 15 seconds anyway. That fight looked pretty bad for Aster, though, and now with all their ultimates on cooldown, PSG.LGD has a chance to make something happen.
And we'll see what they end up doing with this, because it is a lot of time with those ults on cooldown. The Aegis does expire, so maybe they're not trying to press the issue as much. They will get themselves another tier 2 tower, and they will get themselves the last tier 2 tower that's standing for the side of Aster. So all of a sudden, a botched initiation, a botched fight from Aster, because, you know, they get the Chronosphere off, but the Winter Wyvern comes through with the Winter's Curse anyway. So that's one of the things that you need to worry about when you make a jump in like that.
Yeah, the Chronosphere of the Wraith King, it doesn't matter. He's going to come right back up. Even if they did manage to get the Storm Spirit, it didn't matter. He had Aegis there.
Alright. So yeah, I think enough time will probably be bought for Aster where it may not matter. But I say that, and LGD are still playing the pressure point as they look over now at Bobica. This feels like a lot of revenge, but the Remnants come through, and Storm's in a lot of trouble. The Tricks of the Trade, they've got the Cold Embrace. They'll take the first life away from Chalice. There's the Winter's Curse once again coming in from
this LGD side, but I'm not certain that's really going to do enough. They get the kill there on Asamis. They look over at Chalice. Chalice in trouble. He's got the Lotus Orb on him thanks to Old 11, but it's not going to keep him alive. They get the kill there onto the Wraith King. They'll look for more with the Remnants, but Schwan not near anybody. Goes back towards Old 11. Old 11 on the run, full HP, but surrounded on all sides. You really do wish you had Bobica to maybe get a bit of this intelligence, but he uses those spider legs to go up onto the high ground. He's also got the Lotus Orb on him once again. They've got the silence down with the smoke screen, as well as the tricks of the trade once again. Pin of Malice, and Old 11 finally falls as the long chase becomes beneficial, and they go right to this outpost to at least take one.
Yeah, so they get one outpost up. LGD is going to get some XP because they do control the one on the enemy side of the map. All in all, that was a pretty nice fight. You extended really far forward to get that silencer. That's the thing about Bobica. His positioning is absolutely amazing. And his build is pretty good as well, going this Blade Mail, so the Storm Spirit is just killing himself trying to bring him down. Quick fingers on him to be able to activate that in time there, though. So even without the ultimates, they ended up taking a pretty good fight. Just because PSG.LGD thought they were in a really good place there.
Whoa, what I
And that was a fight without Global Silence and without Chronosphere.
It's weird.
Radiant's
Yeah, Sam is
middle tower
definitely
is under
extending
attack.
way too far forward there. Be punished for. Wasn't able
FY.
to.
So I think they know that he's around.
Oh,
Time walk, time dilation, blink away from FY, he'll TP away.
Yeah. As Triple C figures, alright, moment he blinks in the trees, he's going to TP. It's no point in even chasing him. Hal's going for his BKB next. BKB is going to be huge this game. Again, they have a lot of things all over the place in team fights. They've got the smokes, they've got the Pit of Malice, they've got Firestorm raining down on them. Without all those things, I think it's going to be very easy for the Wraith King to just pop the BKB, walk directly at the silencer.
Got Bobica looking to get himself into the BKB. The BKB is popped by SCCC. They've got themselves the Global Silence. They'll take out Summonus. Now they look over at Chalice. And does he have the mana to come back? Yes, he does. Winter's Curse on a Fade. Maybe to get the kill here onto the Ricky. Can they even get that? So far, so good. They finally take one. The Will-O-Wisp is down. That's going to sweep up both SCCC as well as XSS, but they get the kill on the Chalice anyway. So they've only lost Fade. He bought back in this engagement. Now they're looking to go after FY. Old 11 trying to mitigate the backlines on this as he looks over at Bobica, gets the kill on the Silencer, but they've lost themselves the Winter Wyvern, and they'll lose Old 11. Aster, they come out on top. They go out ahead by 3,000 net worth, and I think thankfully for LGD, Roche is still down. By the way, we've been talking about the permanent intelligence here for Silencer, which is at 20. XSS has 93 permanent damage.
He's better Legion Commander right now.
He's gotten into the +5 atrophy permanent bonus damage.
Yeah, I mean, he'll scale into a right-click hero. Maybe go Abyssal Blade or something. It makes perfect sense this game. Storm Spirit's been playing a little bit greedy, and that's one of the main reasons why he's the first one to die in that fight. He's going for a BKB next, but again, if this Underlord opts to go a right-click damage build, yeah, that's exactly what he's queued up next. He's going for the Abyssal Blade. Storm Spirit's going to be in a whole lot of trouble.
Oh my.
So, finishes that pipe. Next Abyssal Blade for the Underlord. He's now a right-click carry.
Subtle burn.
And then Blink Dagger queued up for Fate again. They didn't use Chrono in that fight either. Just Global Silence.
Just global. I mean, getting a proper Chrono is pretty tricky when you've got like the Ricky Underlord Ember Spirit on your team. Be very careful.
It was
that
split up into a bunch of different fights. It was like it was one fight happening here. Old 11 was here against the Silencer and the Underlord. It was a split up fight where Chrono almost guaranteed to be wasted had he thrown it.
Yeah. Number 1 rule of Dota: pressure buttons. Number 2 rule: don't press the buttons on your teammates. Well, the bad ones, anyways. Please press mech and 4 staff on your teammates.
So they'll have Global Silence back up. They smoke immediately. XSS. He's got these skeletons following him. As SCCC moves forward, Roche is up and available. Old 11. Ooh. Now is he gonna risk it? Is he gonna risk going on the high ground?
I think it's worth chronoing this Winter Wyvern.
If they have to. Even if they have to. Winter's Curse comes in. Time Dilation souls up FY. That's going to be problematic for this Winter Wyvern, who ends up going down on the ball and over, looking to get the kill on this Underlord. They might just get that, but now they've got the Global Silence on them, and this is a problem for PSG.LGD. Again, this fight is pretty jumbled up for them to use the Chronosphere. It's not going to work out that way. They'll use the first life on Chalice. Now can they turn this around? A lot of damage onto the Faceless Void. How quickly SCCC just went down, as well as Schwan. But the damage from Bobica is heavy. They've rooted him up. Can he get the kill on Asanis? It doesn't look like it. Two-shot by the big bad Wraith King, and that is a full team wipe for LGD, pulling it back into their favor.
Oh my god, how quick did that happen? In 1 second, how much physical damage did he take from the Wraith King?
He did 7,300 damage.
Oh my god. He was there 1 second, then he was just gone. I mean, he's even got the Satanic to get the status reason so he doesn't get locked down and blown up like that. I sort of missed it. Was that just like a double, triple crit or something? He didn't even manage to get his BKB off before he died.
Yeah, and again, it became a spot where there was no real good place to place a Chrono. Now, I guess the silver lining on that is you do have it to defend the high ground, but that fight just swung the net worth 7,000 gold.
Oh my god. Faceless Void. Definitely destroyed there. Yeah, they'd be very careful here. Again, Storm Spirit is able to just zip onto the back. If you can get Silencer before his Allied Heroes respawn. Is a little bit tricky. Underlord did opt to use his Crimson Guard there, which kept the tier 3 tower alive just a little bit longer, along with that repair kit. Even though all that time spent dead, they didn't manage to get a set of racks there. He just double damage on the Storm Spirit though. It feels like every time Aster has these amazing fights, and once they start to take it onto the enemy side of the map, something goes horribly wrong in these team fights there. That time, Faceless Void just failed to exist.
Yeah, it's multiple times that we've seen the Chronosphere just not get activated, and ultimately, you know, that extra lockdown, it just seems like, you know, isn't there, and the fights get a little bit tougher for the side of Aster.
Yeah, taking control of the map right now, though, on LGD. Everyone playing very tight together on Aster right now. The smoke on Bobica. It'd be very careful. Storm Spirit's got the BKB now, though, 10 seconds, so next time he pops Global Silence, he's going to pop that BKB.
You gotta hope you get him into a Chronosphere, but he's got the Aegis right now, and Leveler. A couple of great tier 4s coming in for the side of LGD.
That's
Princess
an amazing
Knife
item.
And Leveler.
Leveler's an amazing item on Bristleback. I mean, all that extra attack speed lets you do so much with your Warpath. All the time for this Relic, also an amazing item, just in general. I will see who they decide to give that to. Maybe the Storm Spirit.
Aster haven't had the opportunity to go out and get their tier 4s yet.
Not gonna take it. He's got the Prince's Knife right now on the Storm Spirit. Yeah, Winter Wyvern takes the Timeless Relic. A little bit extra time on the Winter's Curse. So I think in this next fight they just drop the Winter's Curse on the Faithless Void once he uses BKB. I think this might be it for Aster.
Now all of a sudden they're down 7,000 net worth. And to finish off the tier 4s, they get themselves a magic lamp. It really did look like Aster were gonna start to seal up the game, but now, you know, you had a couple of fights without Chronosphere, things go awry, and it's a 12-4 shift. Trying to wait out this Aegis if you can.
Ricky very far behind still. He only has a defusal at 38 minutes. He's going for his Blink Dagger next, but again, at this point, the Keeper of the Light has a bunch of answers to him. He's got a plate mail that he's sitting on, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for Ricky to bring him down. He's also sitting on 20 staff right now if we want to, but he's going for that Lotus Orb. Plate mail.
So damage out on old 11.
Throwing down that Firestorm as well as having the Spirit Vessel on old 11.
Very slow
Very
siege
much a
going on right
nuisance.
now. Bit boring.
They end up leaving.
Yeah. I mean, we only have
Leaving the
another,
top
what is
lane.
this, 35 seconds on the Aegis. If they're going to take a fight, they need to do it right now. Otherwise, we're probably going to see another, like, 10 minutes. They are in position for it. It's expiring another 20 seconds here.
So now that Reincarnation will always get off, he goes and turns that into a Silver Edge. Smoke through from Aster.
They'll get the Winter Blade.
Or at least try to. They've got the silence, they'll have the damage. Can they get the kill? Yes, they will. Somnus comes in, he needs to be careful.
Aegis is now gone.
Expired. Timings are always a little bit of a problem with that. And now they get the kill onto the Winter Wyvern. They're looking to get the kill onto the Kato, who drops the Will-O-Wisp. I don't know about that.
I don't either, my dude.
Oh god. The ultimate payback coming through, but is it? Look at the damage that Somnus is taking!
Oh no, does he get away? Okay.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Bomico with the massive tip!
Alright, you do have buyback, you have Global Side still up on the silencer. You lost a couple of Bloodstone charges, you were getting back into this game there. So that was a very, very bold move by Somnus.
Bomico just delivered as much damage as he just took.
Yeah.
1800.
He's not your average position 5.
No, not at all. God.
Didn't end up taking any in from the Storm Spirit, but I'm sure he's really happy about that trade. Yeah, down to 10 Bloodstone charges again on the Storm Spirit, and you lost your 10-second BKB charge right there, trying to make that happen. Very cheeky play.
And Silencer now having the magical lamp. He'll certainly take that.
Yeah. That'll be a game changer. You get that hard D-spell almost all the time, you're going to get that Global Silence off, unless you take a huge crit from Wraith King. Which has been happening. Other things in this game. Ricky has opted not to go Blink Dagger, and so he picked up a Vladimir's offering just now. I kind of agree with that, because again, you're not going to be able to get on top of this Keeper of the Light and kill him anymore when he's got Lotus Orb. You do get that if you use on him, he just purges it off with the Lotus Orb right away. You don't really have enough damage to kill him anymore. When he's got that 10 armor, he's going to be fine. So your timing came a little bit too late, kind of falling onto the back foot with your Ricky. You're a true support instead of being an extra core.
Here I am.
So they're smoking up towards the end of this Roche timer. If they can get a couple of kills here, that might force a couple of buybacks, throw this game back to even, and potentially get themselves a Roche.
What could be really good here is if they manage to get a kill. I didn't catch Ricky there, I don't think. They manage to get a kill here, and it leads them into taking a Roche with the, God, which would the Aghanim's be best on? It's pretty good on Faceless Void. It's okay. I definitely don't think we're going to see a pocket Ricky with
I
it.
feel like it's kind of decent, maybe on the
Radiant's
Underlord
top tower is
or
under
the
attack.
Silencer. The AoE last word is... It could be pretty devastating to this LGD team.
Yeah, I mean, the Refresher Shard would also be devastating. Global Silence, as soon as Storm pops his BKB, just Global Silence again.
Refire Blast, they move on to the front lines. XSS continuing forward. They've got the Silence now on Old 11 as well as Chalice. Thinking about moving in as SCCC can throw down that Chronosphere.
Silencer. I'm a little bit surprised there. Kind of skirmished with the enemies, and Boboka spent all of his money on the Medallion of Courage as that happened. I think he feels pretty safe with his magic lamp right now. He's always going to get that Global Silence off. But a lot of the time, Silencer will hang on to buyback, regardless of what he has. Because again, if you can get the enemies to overcommit, you buy back and then pop a Global Silence, it's almost better than a perfect global silence. 3 had gone on.
And they're thinking about going in on the Old 11. Do they have the damage to really finish him off? Remnant onto the back line, looking over at X Nova, and now Old 11's got the Lotus Orb on him. Now, Schwan pops the BKB. Vortex comes in, the Chronosphere is out onto 2 as well as the Firestorm, but they've got themselves the Winter's Curse. That's combined with the Will-O-Wisp. So again, they've kind of overlapped these ultis. Global Silence has not been used just yet. Chalice on the run here with the Pit of Malice. They're trying to get the first life out of the hands of this Wraith King, and they finally do. But there's the BKB. The Global Silence comes out afterwards, and now Somnus might be in a little bit of trouble. A lot of damage being done here onto this Void. He'll buy back immediately. They look over at Chalice. They're trying to get the kill. Onto the backlines, though, is Old 11 looking over at Bobica. Bobica surviving with the Magic Lamp for a little bit longer as he's now in the smoke screen. They get the kill on a Chalice. They take out the Wraith King. He'll buy back immediately, and they don't have buyback on Bobica. Not that they need. He's already used the Global Silence. They've got the Cold Embrace on Old 11. Chalice moving forward, looking to get that Wraith Fire Blast, but avoided with the Sleight of Fist from Shawan. Now Old 11 continuing to move forward, looking for the Faceless Void once again, but SCCC's damage might be too much, and it might be too much for Chalice to handle. But the ball landing all the way in, looking over at this Ember, has the Electric Vortex. Can he get the kill onto this Ember Spirit? Yes, he can. He's got buyback. XSS now might need to think about going away on this one, as he's got the Dark Rift available, and as he's taking a lot of damage, he ends up dead. Dead and gone. He had 200 extra atrophy aura damage as well as 143 permanent damage. Old 11 now looks over at Fade. Tricks of the trade onto the high ground, but there's the ball landing, looking for the Electric Vortex. Not there in time, just TPs away.
Woo. Just barely gets out of there. Oh my god, what a crazy fight. One of the biggest factors at that is that the Winter Wyvern ended up getting that Winter's Curse off onto the Faceless Void before he popped that BKB at the start of it. He just wasn't able to do anything. Again, these Chronospheres just aren't quite hitting home. And he did end up catching the Ember Spirit just the edge of it. I think that was a bit of a mistake there. Again, I think that could have been a very, very different fight if... Oh no, this could be so bad.
This can just be the end of the game if this Ember dies. He's dead for 2 minutes. Bobica, Magic Lamp, not gonna matter. They'll look over to get this Void. That Ember getting caught out like that, that is just a very over-aggressive play that didn't need to happen, and that probably cost them the game, if not the game already being over at that point.
I think they can just hit Throne here. You've got Desolator on the Wraith King, you've got the Aghanim's Blessing from the Roshan just now. Even if you do manage to take down these heroes, they're going to be up for a couple of seconds still. There's just not enough you can do.
Chronosphere is 16, so they might wait for a last gung-ho play. And if you do have a repair kit, as well as making this a little bit more difficult with the smoke screen, forcing the BKB from Chalice, but the timings have to work out, and now without the glyph, that's just the end of the game. So we'll be going to a game 3 on this one.
LGD, some really good fights by them. Somnus, Storm Spirit felt a little bit hit and miss. His items felt a little bit greedy, but he did so well identifying those pickoffs on the Ricky and slowing down his game. Ricky was almost a non-factor in this game, I feel like, and that was a lot due to the fact that they wanted to separate him, give him a little bit of time to farm his defusal. Somnus identified that and shut them down.
Yeah, you know, they really made Fade work for that defusal blade. He finally ended up getting it, but it didn't do as much as it did in the previous game. It really looked like Aster had their moments, but that last exchange, I mean, you just show the power of Old 11, especially when he's got the leveler, how quickly he's going to hit with that ulti, just stacking up more and more. And then Chalice just, I think he made the decision